example. We've already got the profit before tax, right? Because I get it here at the bottom, ne? Then I want the depreciation and the interest. Can you see it's 16 and 6? So here we'll go. Interest will be 6, and now I'm going to put it here. And depreciation was 16. Okay. So in other words, you're going to add those 3 for this in-between thing, and it's going to give me 42. Is it 52? Anybody? 52,000. Okay. So, once again, I'm saying to you, you don't have to know the long sentences, but you have to be able to recognize them. Because one year what they did is they gave you the operating profit before changes in working capital. So in other words, they gave the kids that amount. And you need to know, oh, it's the top part of note 1. You see? Okay, now, the changes in working capital. Remember yesterday we talked about what working capital is? But now let's look. And I've already explained to you the brackets. Nay, remember we went into a deep rabbit hole with that. I just want to show you how easy this is. Can you see here at the top? They give me the extract from the balance sheet. Okay. So the basic principle is I want the change. Okay. And now if I look at inventory there, can you see the change is 40,000? Can you see that? If the people, let me tell you how I get it. 200 less 160 gives me 40. But now, can you see it's a what? An increase or a decrease? It's a decrease. And a decrease is positive. Okay. Can you see why I say to you, when you write down your format, you immediately put your brackets in. Increase, increase, decrease. So it's literally increase bracket, decrease bracket. Inventory, receivables, payables. Okay. Let's look at the next one. Let's quickly look. Can I see the difference? There's 10, ne? Is it an increase or a decrease? It's a decrease. Is a decrease a bracket or no bracket?
No bracket.
No bracket. Payables. It's an increase of 6. It's an increase bracket or no bracket? Can you see in this case there's no brackets? There is no brackets. Okay, so now let's add, because every time I'm asking brackets or no brackets, so then you say no brackets, and so now I say, oh, everything is no brackets. Okay, so now can you see everything is positive? 40 plus 10 plus 6 gives me 56. So can you see I added downwards, I added upwards. Now I'm going to take those two and total it here. So that's going to give me 108. And that 108 will go in cash from operations. Now if you look at all papers, you'll see it's very rare for them to ask this note. Most of the times they give it to you already printed, which means the opportunity is very open for them to ask it this year. So please don't think, oh, they never ask it, because maybe this year they do. So we need to get this thing right. So now I want to say something else to you. When I look at exercise 1, this is now page 3. I want you to see if I look at receivables. Can you see receivables here is a block on top? Can you see it? And the payables is also a block on top. There's my payables. Can you see that's also, oh sorry, there. It's also a block on top. Okay. Now, you are not allowed to just use those totals. Why? Because you can't use bank overdraft. Bank overdraft, nee, we must use at the bottom of the cash flow. It's must here. Nee? So you ignore bank overdraft. You are also not allowed to use shareholders and such. Okay. And then of course, obviously also not short-term loan. If they put, remember you can must put the short-term loan in the note for trade and other payables as a, also. You can put a short-term loan there. So you don't use that. So what do you use? You use everything that's got to do with the creditors. So you'll use the accrueds, the income in advance, the future payments, the anything to do with the salaries, if I've got a creditor for salary, all of that. Okay, so write a note for yourself. With receivables and payables, nee, in that note. Now we're talking in note 1. Nee? You ignore such shareholders, short-term loan, bank overdraft. Let me say again, because some of you don't get my abbreviations. You're going to ignore such shareholders, short-term loan, and bank overdraft. In other words, let me show you receivables, just to show you what I mean. If I go here to receivables, can you see I've got debtors and such. So I have to ignore such. So I'm literally going to work on those amounts for trade debtors, those two. Okay? If I go to payables, I'm going to ignore those 3. So I'm going to work with the total of that and the total of that. Does that make sense to you? So in other words, I will add the 2. I'm going to do it for you quickly. I will add the 2. What is my total here? If I say 1534, it's going to give me 1542355. That's 24, ne? And what is 23 then? If I say 1030 plus 87, it's going to give me 10387. You guys see what I did? I just totaled those 2. I'm ignoring the other 3. Okay? So now if I look, this is 23. What's the difference between them? What's the difference? So I say 15 less 10. It's going to give me 5. Okay, 5, 0. Okay, now I'm asking you, is it a bracket or no bracket? Is it an increase or a decrease? It's a increase, so it's no brackets. Always remember, just when you write down your format, I'm going to do it again for you. Changes in working capital, it's inventory, receivables, payables, right? And it's going to be increase, decrease, increase, decrease, increase, decrease. This is stuff you need to learn from your heart. Not stuff you need to think you're going to sleep and it's going to be there when you get up. Okay. I'm giving you 2 minutes. Quickly finish this recon, that I can mark it. Let's do this one. So the first thing you will see, they gave you an extract from the income statement. So extract from the income statement tells me net profit before tax. Now can you see, they give me before income tax after. So sometimes they will only give you 2 of that, sometimes they will only give you the tax with a percentage. And then you remember to go back to your income statement, where if the tax is 30, the before is 100, the after is 70. So always remember that. Okay, so now let's see. We want before tax, so it's the 101,234,7,250. That one. I'm just checking if you're really listening. In any case, so I've got interest on loan 86.4. Oh, sorry, I'm writing it wrong. I've got depreciation 203. Okay, I want you for tomorrow